Julia Memar from University of Technology, Sydney. And I teach, well, just here mathematics, in particular foundation mathematics at the moment. And I also manage Mathematics and Science Study Center. So today I'll talk about teaching online, how we teach mathematics online using those platforms, digital platforms. Okay, so quite different tones from previous presentation. Okay, and in particular, how we use these platforms when we have large classes and when in the current climate of pandemic, increased workloads for subject coordinators, in particular in large subjects, limited funding and cutting costs and firing people. Of course, as everything, this is not perfect and has its own challenges. And I believe we will be able to talk about this. And I've been using this particular platform, this product, MyLab Math, it's called, by Pearson, for the last 4 years for teaching 2 large subjects, so foundation mathematics and quantitative skills for science. And in fact, I'm the largest user of this product in Southern Hemisphere. So this is what they say. Disclaimer, this is not advertising of this product. It's just, I'm sharing my experience. And I think it can be useful for you, I hope. Okay, let's just start with a story. In autumn 2020, I had 2 subjects coordinating and teaching. These are the ones I mentioned. I just put number of students there. So I had foundation mathematics with 420 students and quantitative skills for science, 80 students. So first subject is not a core subject and essentially designed for our engineering and science students who do not have assumed knowledge, and if they don't pass maths readiness tests, so we run maths readiness tests for students who are taking first core math subject. So if you don't pass, they're streamed to foundation mathematics, or if they want to apply, they go for a couple of weeks and say, okay, I'm out of there, Julie, take me. So, and the second core subject is also a first year subject, core subject. It was, before that degree was cut, for advanced science students. It was their first mathematics quantitative subject, which includes both maths and stats, and that's advanced Bachelor of Advanced Science in Life Science. So I had pre-medicine and infectious diseases students. So anyway, I had a lot of students to take care of. And then we had COVID and were given just 1 week to go online. Can you imagine? And I've survived. So I'm pretty sure that you can all share those survival stories, right? So I'm just putting it context. So what was my saving grace? Okay, let's look at the comparing delivery pre-COVID and at present, because essentially it's still the same as it was in COVID. So I'm talking here about delivery of foundation mathematics. The other subject was similar. So we had the following, how it was delivered. So on campus, we had guided problem solving sessions, we still do. And it was like 5 hours face-to-face in 2 sessions, delivered of course on campus in large rooms with concurrent streams. Yeah, so besides me, there were like another 3, 4 teachers. Yeah, delivering it in parallel to, you know, accommodate various timetabling, you know, requirements for the students. Then I also have assessed homework There are a few sets of homework, which was done online. And I used MyLab Math for that. Basic skills test, that is assessment, also was accessed online using MyMathLab, but it was run on campus in computer labs, like 20 students or so. And of course, it was under supervision. And the final exam was paper-based, invigilated exam on campus. So what changed? So you see, not much changed really. As long as, I had to get, hand on Zoom. So currently, like yesterday and tomorrow, I will be for 2.5 hours or 3 hours on Zoom with my students and delivering whatever content I'm delivering. So the way I do it, it's also interesting, but we're not talking about this today. So it's just me, Zoom, and MyMathLab right now. So when I had to jump in the week, so all I had to do is to learn how to record lectures or those sessions, or how to use Zoom. Okay, so the rest was easy for me because our final exam, essentially, it's just a longer test. Yes, so, and I looked at my colleagues who had to jump the loops. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, inventing all these ways to put assignments and make them different, because there was no invigilation and somehow preserve academic integrity. I didn't have to deal with that. I mean, besides 500 students, otherwise, it was my saving grace. So that's sort of my story. So what is MyMathLab? So I want to talk about this. So, and again, I'm not saying that this is like a perfect product, but I'm just thinking maybe we could consider, some of such product and use them. I mean, obviously, this is not the only product, and I used others. I chose to use MyMathLab. It has very, very friendly interface, and I'll talk about this, friendly and not cumbersome input, because that was just bad in some platforms. So what is it? So it's a part of Pearson, the publisher, digital platform that allows you to create your own online course, essentially. So you choose the text, and then you create your assignments, tests and quizzes, and you have interactive learning and support tools. So it all depends, what textbook you use, because that's a foundation of the course. So what advantages and what tools it gives to educators? Yes, so first I talk about management tools. So MyLab Math is deep linked to Canvas. So TTS, we're using Canvas. I don't know what platform you use. So we're using Canvas. So what does it mean, it deep link? So students, they enroll themselves. So essentially I have this link, like MyMathLab link, that's it. And they just enroll themselves. So in other, when I used other platforms, I had to bulk enroll them manually. And it was just a nightmare because, first 2-3 weeks, they can change classes, this and that. You have to make sure they're in the right groups. So that was a lot of work, unnecessary work. So it is easy to set up assignments and assessments in Canvas once you have created those in MyLab Math. So essentially, I just sync these assessments. Once I've created them, I sync them with Canvas, and they just appear in my assignment folder, and I just put them in a group. So I'll show in a moment. And another important thing, in particular for big classes, that results are transferred automatically. So again, you choose assignment or assignments which you want to transfer to marks, to gradebook, and Canvas, and that's it. These marks are there, so no manual entry. And if you have like hundreds of students and quite a few assessments, it makes difference. And these are some screens. So essentially, what you see here is just the print screens from my Canvas site on current course. So essentially, like access now, and that's it. Like a couple of windows, they're registered. Yeah, so it's just done. Then this is part of my assignments folder. So they're just linked. I created those as homeworks. And once I sync them, like pushed one button with Canvas, they just appear in, in whatever groups. So I put them in the groups and put the weights, which I want, but I don't have to do anything else. So it's just done. And again, that's like opportunity to sync. So you can choose automatic sync with whatever assignments you have, or you can do it, just appoint what assignments you want to sync. So that's quite handy. So management of a class becomes easier. So you can concentrate on more important things. So assessment tools. So that's pretty flexible and great to setting up assessments. So you essentially, you don't, if you want to, you can create your own questions, but we all know that good questions take time, and it's not easy to do it. It's a lot of work, in particular if you have to, create many tests with different values. So that's hard, and it makes hard to mark as well. So here you have quite a library of questions in your selected text. And you can select questions by topic, then within topic by section, and then within every section by objective. I'll show you. You also can use limited number of questions, but from other Pearson's texts, which I found very useful. So you create your own questions. You can do it if you have time, but I have to say that editor and compiler are quite good. And you, of course, can preview everything you create in student mode and test it. So here's again parts of my, so that's how my Canvas looks. Yes, just to comment, I don't know how to use, okay, I'll try to use mouse because I never use mouse on the Mac. So this is how it looks. Yes, so, and this is example of practice assignments. For example, this is my text. Where is the mouse? So this is my text I use, but I can change it when I create this practice. So I have sort of homework assignments and tests. So I use it for two different. So homework is for practice, obviously, and tests are for tests, like, assessing them. So, and then you use chapter. So if well, it's not live, it's print screen. So chapter, you use chapter, then section and objective. And then you have here, you have questions. So you can sort of zoom in what particular topic you want them to practice. And then you just assign them. So it's pretty straightforward. So now let's look at the tests. So for tests, again, it's great. So of course, we'll worry about academic integrity, in particular in a climate when most assessment is going online. So first, all questions have algorithmic values. So no two students have the same values to the question. Secondly, I pull the questions, right? So that is like different students may have different questions at all, which assess the same concepts. I also can use randomized order of questions for each student, which makes it harder to cooperate, for them between each other. And you can assign prerequisites for the test. And you can switch off support, like whatever you have. I'll talk about support. And of course, we all have students who have special provisions. So it's very easy. You can set individual for individual students. In fact, you can get a tag. So I'm just looking what camera is like. You tag the students like who have special conditions. And then for the current test, you select them by tag. So you don't scroll through entire class. You say, okay, tag students who have special conditions. And then you just bulk assign them, say, more time. Very easy. So in that example, I think this is my practice test here. Yeah, so you see this like randomization. Yeah, so each question has two within it which are chosen randomly. Yeah, so they assess the same topic, but not exactly the same questions. So, and this is when I'm setting, like I can put starting time and obviously the finishing time. I also can allow late submission. So it depends what sort of assignment you have. You can include password. You can set prerequisites. So for instance, this is not current assessment scheme. So like last year, for students to be able to attempt a basic skills test, they had to complete at least 50% of assessed homework sets on the topics of this set. So trying to avoid this sort of surface learning. So they did, so I wanted to make sure that they've done some practice. So, and this is where I would put it here, prerequisite. So if they haven't done 50%, that's it. They would be able to access the test. And that would ensure so they work consistently through semester, not just leaving everything for the last moment. So, and again, you can set time. For example, like tomorrow, I will open for my students practice tests so they get familiar with the system. I mean, they working with homework, but I give them practice tests so they're prepared how the tests are run. And I'm flexible, so because it's not part of the assessment. So essentially, I give them time from 5 p.m. tomorrow till 5 p.m. on Saturday, and they have to choose, wait, what did I do? I did something. And they have to choose like 1 hour within this 24 hours to complete the test. So just giving them flexibility with their time. You also, you see, can scramble the questions for each student. You can switch on off learning aids. You can prescribe how many attempts they can have and how you display results. Like, for example, exam, it's hidden completely. But for the tests, not only they can see their results, but they also can review, which gives them, like, if they've done something wrong, they see the correct answer, they see the number of the question, and they can work on it. So feedback is immediate. So you don't wait like for a week till tutors mark your PDFs. So because, I mean, we're human and it takes time to mark papers. So, okay, I call it monitoring tools. So basically, you need to make sure how that students are engaged. I mean, I'm trying to make sure that they're engaged, and I monitor how they progress with homework, for example. I monitor their attendance, what they do, and so on and so forth. Because, for example, I have TAFE students taking foundation mathematics at the moment. Yeah, so as a part of pathway to ETS. So who are not very familiar how uni works. So I sort of, if I see that they don't participate very well, so maybe I contact them. Or they didn't read something, and I know that they may be not reading UTSML. So I see nothing happening in my MyLab, so I even call them. So that allows you to monitor the entire class, individual student progress, and it has massive of comprehensive reports, which I mean, I probably don't use only a fraction of what is available. So here's example. So this is actually example of what I can just download, quick download of. So what you have on the top row is all my homework sets. And this is like here we would have students' IDs and names. And this is their progress, like that's at the end of semester. Yeah, so we see we have a student who done 100% of each set of homework. Some haven't done much. Yes, so, and you can, I mean, I download like a few times a week. And then you can see what class is doing. And then maybe, you know, I periodically address the issue. I said, okay, guys, you're not doing your homework, test is coming. So I can see that. So not only that, so it's sort of summary, the snapshot, but I also have an opportunity. So that's an actual student from spring. Of course, I don't put a name. I can see their attempts at everything, not only like how many points they got right, what is score as a percentage, then how much time they spent, when they started, when they like last time worked. And this is also useful because I mean, you can look at every student, like when especially it said, oh, I've done everything in my power to do my best, but. So I'm looking at this and I see that is not everything. There is nothing done. There is no evidence of that. So that's an evidence as well. So unfortunately, we have to deal with that as well. Or if I have students in like particular, so I have a few students who I know they're repeating the subject or they are like, for whatever reason, I have to monitor them. So I'm looking at them personally. And if I see something's happening here, so I will probably contact them and maybe talk, say, okay, is everything okay? Do you need any help? And so on and so forth. So that's very important that we can have this data, and that's not all, of course. Then comprehensive report. So that's just an example of more difficult sort of report. So essentially what I can do, like at the end of semester, I tend to make a report across all, for example, homework, and see, like it's by question, how much in average median they spend on whatever question or whatever set, how much they spend on the entire homework, how much they practice during the semester, how much they practice on particular sets. And that's, you can then analyze and correlate with their background, with grades they sort of got as a result. So that's quite a powerful tool. And of course, you can analyze every you know, individual student, like after a test. You can look how much time they spend on each question. And then you can have a report, how class performed in particular tests, like what questions were difficult, which questions took more time. So, and this is all useful to sort of adjust your course, I think. All right, so so about learning and support. So basically, when you set up your course, and it depends on your subscription, because of course your institution has to subscribe on that package. It's not open source. It depends what tools you have. So for example, some products like texts, they have support for students and for educators. For example, for these skills for science, they essentially had slides for me I could use. Yes, so then I could adjust, and that was done. They also had like videos, animation, which you could include and sort of enrich the experience. So what I have now, like when they work for their practice questions, they have option help me solve it. Yeah, so it's sort of step-by-step guiding through solutions. So it's split into steps, or just briefly show example. They can also have access to e-text. Again, it's subject to subscription. So they click on the button and the part of the book related to this question would appear. And of course, they get immediate feedback for tests. So, and I'm also always telling them after test, please go through all the questions, in particular those which you didn't get right. Look where you went wrong, try to understand that. If still it doesn't make sense for you, email me. So, but work through this. So because each test, I have 3 tests, and for each test I have 2 attempts. Yes, so they can learn from their mistakes. And then I take maximum. So, and I can do that amount of tests, you know, set them up, because I'm not writing the content. I'm choosing the content, and that makes big difference. So, and here's examples, like something about what is some about significant digits. Yes, they have to determine to a certain number of significant digits. And I'm asking, help me solve this. And then you see part 1 with some explanation, then continue. And it's split in 6 steps, which I believe is useful. So, and it gives students the flexibility of, you know, taking their time, because obviously I have students from very different mathematical backgrounds, and the same set can take from half an hour to about 12 hours for different students to solve. So, and of course there are challenges, and I just mentioned them. So it is important that you select a text for your subject, which, like, you know, aligns with your subject, and it has digital product with that. Because like once I had this subject for, I chosen the text, but I didn't know it doesn't have digital platform. So had to choose questions from different books. So course can be based only on one textbook, but we often have, like in first year, we have subjects with more than one components, not only mathematics, like maths and stats. Yeah, so and I was in this situation. So my maths book was like course text, and then we had to get sort of questions from different other texts, but it was a limited number of questions which you can take from different texts. I have to finish. Okay. And there are bugs. And of course, we do not see students thinking on paper. So that's the problem, I guess. But in general, I think these are good tools using the platform. So essentially this year, I taught about 600 students. It's me, Zoom, and MyLab. So that's pretty cost efficient. Okay, so thank you. And I also wanted to talk about, do I have 3 minutes? No. Yes. Okay. So Mathematics Study Center, I'll just, okay, so I want to talk about this. So essentially, we have Mathematics and Science Study Center, which provides support to all students. So pre-COVID, we had hundreds of students coming, revision, all of that, and then COVID came. And we tried to be flexible. So essentially, the idea was to have drop-ins in Microsoft Teams. So I have Microsoft Teams on Microsoft Teams, and there I have channels for subjects, first year subjects, and general channels. So tutor, if we're allowed on campus, sits in the room in front of computer where he has walk-ins and walk-ins online. So like, and currently I have in a team about 500 students. So, and anyone from UTS can sort of get access to this team, and that's it. You ask your question in the chat or in Microsoft Team video or any other platform, but that gives us flexibility to serve our students regardless what the situation we're gonna do. And that would be, I guess, all from me. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.